Let's make this bowl of cherries into a fresh, no-bake cherry pie. My name is Renee, and thank you for stopping in at Pike Creek Farm today. And let's make this wonderful, easy, simple, bright-tasting pie with the cherries that are in season now. The first step, and this is the tedious part, after you pick the cherries and wash them, you have to pit them. And last year I was gifted this pitter and it works great. You can do 6 at once, and I will have the link down below for this product. And it makes pretty quick work. You do have to make sure the pits come out. Sometimes they stick on the bottom there by a little fiber, but it goes real fast. Well, relatively fast. I don't think you can ever say pitting cherries is a fast process, but this is a lot better than doing it with a little paring knife by hand like I used to do it. The recipe for this pie I received from a friend from church, and I told her I don't like cooked cherries, and many of you viewers already know that. I'm just not a big fan of cooked cherries, the texture. And she said she had this pie that is made without cooking the cherries. So I thought, well, I'm gonna give it a try. Once your cherries are pitted, you need to have a pie crust that you bake. And I'm just gonna use a frozen pie crust. And I will put the recipe for this pie down below so you can have it real easily. So I am just pricking the crust so that it doesn't bubble up, hopefully. And I'm gonna pre-bake this pie shell. I have a 1¼ cup of water in this saucepan. I'll get my words out. And to that, I'm gonna add 2 tablespoons of cornstarch. Ah, it exploded. So 2 tablespoons to the cold water. And 3/4 of a cup of sugar. You can add a cup of sugar, but we're gonna go for the 3/4 like Sherry does. So it is golden brown. Ah, that one spot there is a little crack. Yeah, but it's okay. This isn't being entered in any state fair or anything. It's just for us. Something quick and yummy. So we turn the heat up. I have noticed that these yellow ones start to discolor. And you can probably hear I'm sure you can hear the air conditioner going. Just waiting for it to come to a boil and start to thicken. I think the cherry jello will help with the yellow cherries because they're getting brown, and that will hide that. I could have put fruit fresh on it. I didn't realize they would do that. Usually we just eat them off the tree. I'm starting to see some clear pockets, like see there. And boom, just like that, it is thickening. So I'm going to remove it from the heat, turn off the burner, and then we're going to add the jello. Okay, stirred in the strawberry jello. And this is a different glaze than what I've used before. But it's fun to find a different one. Now, I want this to cool down. You could add in the cherries now if you want. It would partially cook them, but I'm trying to avoid that. So I'm gonna let this cool down before I fold in the cherries and put them in the pie crust, which is cooling. It's cooled down some. It's not real thick. I'm hoping as it gets cold, it will. Maybe I should have cooked the cornstarch more. We will find out. We'll make it work somehow. So I'm gonna pour that over those, because see, they're getting discolored, and put them in the pie plate. Okay, I added the sauce to the cherries and poured them into the pie plate. Thought I was recording, but and hopefully it sets up. I cooked it long enough before. It's going over the edge there a little where it shrunk down, but that's okay. So I'm going to put this in the fridge. Here is the pie, and it did set up. It doesn't, it went over the edge here a little where it's showing. I wish it was all like this. Let me cut a piece and we'll check it out. And here it is. Of course, it looks different, you know, with the yellow cherries, which taste really good and sweet like the dark red cherries. But let's take a test. Now, cherries aren't my favorite. It's good. It doesn't taste like jello. It's more like a velvety glaze, I guess, because of the cornstarch and sugar. You could chop the cherries up. I think the raspberry jello would be really good. But I bought the cherry before I knew she used raspberry. A little bit of whipped cream on top. And it's very light and refreshing and not heavy at all. Perfect for summer. I like that it still has that pop that fresh cherries have. It's not squishy like baked ones. It's all a texture thing for me. And I do like the pastry crust. You could use a graham cracker, but I think the pastry is the perfect balance. So, thank you so much for watching, and I'll put this recipe down below. And thank you, Sherry, for sharing. I might not have done it exactly like you, but I sure appreciate the inspiration in your recipe. See you next time at Pike Creek Farm.